teenage dream. The monkey.
And there's the monkey. Greetings from HOD Pod, unofficial podcast and YouTube series on HBO's House of the Dragon. I am your host, the Dark Knight of Westeros, Sir Benjamin of David, and with me as always is my Hand of the King and co-host, Stephen of House Davinci. Say hello, Stephen.
Hey, what's up?
We are recording live from Davinci's Dreamworks 2 comic shop here in sunny Jensen Beach, Florida. We got comics, we got games. Stop in anytime. Check us out at Davinci's Dreamworks 2 on Instagram and Facebook, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Please subscribe to both audio and here on the channel so you don't miss an episode. We are here youtube.com/above and Batman Beyond, and then on Spotify for audio. And soon enough, actually, we are going to start uploading the videos, the live videos, to Spotify. So obviously they won't be live once they're on Spotify, but start looking for video episodes as well on Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at House of the Dragon Pod. So today we are recapping and reviewing HOD, House of the Dragon Episode 10, The Black Queen. It is the season finale, Stephen.
Yay.
We have news from the Red Keep, as always. Non-spoiler initial thoughts. So we'll always have a spoiler wall. 'Tis Westeros. There's always a wall. Recap and review proper after that, where we walk through the episode. And throughout the walkthrough, beat by beat parts of the episode, we also take little breaks. We have dragon counts, lore breaks. Stephen has read the books upon which House of the Dragon is based, which is Fire and Blood. He's also read A Song of Ice and Fire, upon which Game of Thrones is based, which is important to mention because Benjamin has not read the book. So when we do our lore breaks, Stephen is super useful for that. And he's an awesome guy, all on top of that.
I try.
This week, no IG polls or Q&A, but we do frequently check in with you guys on Instagram because these episodes, unfortunately, have not... I think if I had liked the show more, I'd be a little more involved with Instagram, but alas, hasn't been my cup of tea. So let us begin with news from the Red Keep. Again, this was the Season 1 finale. To start off with kind of, I guess, news from the Red Keep within our own Red Keep, if you will. Again, obviously it's the season finale. This is the last walkthrough / after show episode that we're going to have for quite a while until Season 2 of the House of the Dragon. But just to let you guys know what we do have coming up, in 2 weeks, we're going to do, if my Hand of the King is available, I thought we could do a kind of Season 1 recap, Season 1 post-mortem, whatever you want to call it, where we talk about, I thought audio only, we don't necessarily need to go live or anything, a little more informal, but, it'd be cool to just do like I said, a post-Season 1 recap. What do you think?
Yeah, could do that.
No, maybe recap is the wrong term, because that would assume that we're going to go through each episode. More so like overview recap, let's call it. Overview review.
A remembrance
of a House of the Dragon. And also, for future stuff, we got the feed going. I was talking to Stephen off mic about this. The feed's alive, so we might as well keep it going with any future, like the Jon Snow, and we talked about this in past episodes, but the Jon Snow sequel series coming up, and then also Game of Thrones proper. We have plans to possibly talk about, the OG Game of Thrones, maybe episode by episode, or just some kind of specials that we could do now that we have the feed going. We have a Game of Thrones feed here, sitting here, Stephen. Why don't we use it?
Sure.
Right? Any other news from the Red Keep that you know of, like actual news of the show or upcoming things now that the season's done?
I know the showrunners are like, you're going to see more of what you expected in Season 2. I was like, oh, wowee. More of what I expected to see in this season?
Dragons, fighting, conflict.
There'll be lots of dragon fighting. We promise this time. We promise. Yeah, will they have control over their dragons this time? Will it be on purpose? Or will it be accidental?
And also just like, I forgot what the hell I was even going to say, but I don't know. Yeah, what you said.
I know George R. R. Martin said that he's like getting done, or at least he's like 75% of the way through Winds of Winter, I think.
And explain what Winds of Winter is. I keep hearing this too.
That's the next book in the Song of Ice and Fire series.
Interesting. So Game of Thrones proper, essentially.
Yes.
The source material for that is still being worked on.
Yep. But he actually gave an update of how much he had done, and I think he said it's the longest book that he's been working on, so there's a lot of stuff going on in it. It'll be very interesting because obviously, this will be a big departure from how the show went, when the show went off the rails, off the books. So, who knows? Who knows? It'll probably be a popular buy. Imagine a lot of people going to it praying, like, please be better than the season 8.
So essentially the book that never was?
Yeah.
Hey.
And we still have a book after that, too.
The source material that never was? I have been hearing that, too. Thank you for bringing that up. I don't know if I would have remembered on the spot to bring that up, but yeah. And it's funny, too, because I've heard a couple interviews with him talking about it, and he keeps saying he begins his reaction to it or his answer with, a lot of people have been asking me about this. Yeah, no shit, dude. What, you're surprised that they're surprised? What are you talking about?
The series is over. We're about to have a sequel series. We're getting through a prequel series. How about that book, my guy?
He might as well just open every interview with, okay, start asking me about Winds of Winter. They have every right to ask about that. That's not a tabloidy question here.
Yeah. Oh, what was that movie with the James Bond actor and the guy from Star Wars? It was the one where they were trying to break into the bank at a racetrack.
Oh, no memory of that. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a more recent one. But one of the plots for them distracting that they weren't in jail was that they had the prisoners capture the guards in the kitchen, and they were demanding that they get the Winds of Winter. So, the warden's, trying to negotiate with them. It was like, come on, guys. It's he's not even done with the Winds of Winter. It's he promised Winds of Winter would have been out at this time. Because they don't have it in the library. So they're it's not done. I remember that being a whole plot point. It's come on.
Even prisoners in a movie have a better perspective than this guy. I would not have wanted George R. Martin in one of my writing classes. He never would have gotten his homework done.
Yeah.
It's just procrastination. Okay. All right. So, again, we always have our wall, 'tis Westeros. So before we get over the wall, we have our non-spoiler. So, Stephen, episode 10, The Black Queen, non-spoiler thoughts.
They decide it's a great idea to tell a very pregnant lady bad news. So you can imagine what happens there. Damon's well, let's go fuck him up.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, don't. We're indecisive in the show. Don't remember. Everyone's got to appear to be good. No one could have a singular focus. And then it's just accident after accident. And dragons. Kinda. And then some accidents. And then we're done.
No, it's a good point. Things are pretty, they just happen. They're not...
There's a lot of stuff that just kind of happens.
Instead of being the result of people's motivations and, trying to cope with circumstance that's unthinkable, instead it's, something's happened. Let us react in a very boring, controlled, what do I want to say? Weird, boring way. It's
Yeah. And then they actually have Rhaenys explain herself too from the last episode. It's I only came to tell you because just to tell you what happened. It's but you had a dragon and they were pinned against the dragon and you didn't just end the whole conflict. Well, we can't because that didn't happen in the book. Well, you didn't erupt out of a dragon pit either and threaten them with a dragon in the book. So to say we're going off the rails here. It wasn't my war to start, just like what the director said. It wasn't her war to start. She's not supposed to do this.
Just like the writer said, it wasn't my season to start.
So of course we got to open up with that, where it's it
wasn't my show to write.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to do this. What are you talking about? It's your fault. You do it.
Nothing's anyone's fault. No one's responsible for anything. Yeah. I'll say, I am overall. I said last episode. I'll say it again. Overall disappointed. Especially now that this is the finale. This is the finale. It's not. By episode 9, again, very disappointed. But at that point, I thought at least we have one episode. Since episode 8, I'm going, all right. at least by this third act, somewhere in this third act, we're going to get an episode. Half an episode, maybe. It just never happened. Nothing. Yeah. I mean, some things happened. But nothing in the way of, like, oh my God, this conflict of, and almost in a civil war, it is a literal civil war, but the way, like a Marvel Civil War, that movie of, you're almost on both sides, you don't know which one to take. And even if that's not the theme, at least, like, both sides are going at it, and you can see both sides' perspectives, even if it's not like you feel you're on both sides. Yeah. And this did the same thing last episode did. And again, we're not at spoilers yet, but just of the whole episode's about one family. You don't get to see the other side of the Civil War. Worst way to present a Civil War, or the beginning thereof. Of just, let's see one side of it for the whole hour. The only Hightower we got in this whole episode, we got two. We got Aemond, and then we got Otto as well. And that was it. It's like, cool. Way to let me see both sides.
And Otto, I feel like, is the only character that is actually motivated to a certain path. Like, he's said what he's wanted since the first episode, essentially. And he's continued on doing that. And everyone else is just random background characters, technically. And the writers and directors push us towards vilifying one side versus the other, because the show heavily favors the blacks. They want you to match up with Rhaenyra and feel her plight. That's why they always give her like the crazy like birthing scenes where she's got to walk the baby up the damn stairs. So you're like, oh, how dare they make her do that?
Yeah.
And Alicent goes crazy and is like, give me your kid's eye. You took my kid's eye, I want your kid. And then stab. And so, of course, like, from an audience perspective, we're being, like, shown only the things that are like, that bitch crazy. I was like, oh, Rhaenyra, let's go, Team Rhaenyra. But it should be more equal, and it's not.
Good point. And even the show is biased, yeah.
Yeah, the show is biased, and it shouldn't be. And that's what makes it even dumber, because then the characters that, okay, all right, got it. The Greens are the villains, right? Like, we had clear villains in Game of Thrones. We had Cersei. It's like, so make Alicent Cersei.
Right.
No, she misheard the king, so she thinks she's supposed to put her son on the throne. It's like, yeah, Aegon? Which one? There's like 4 of these fuckers.
I was saying to Steven off mic, this is the Martha problem, but it's just Aegon.
Yeah. And then even, like, Rhaenyra is just wanting to be, like, passive. And this is not the Rhaenyra. Like, when they had the younger actress, when Millie was Rhaenyra, she was straight up like, I'll go to the Stepstones, ride my dragon, and light everyone on fire. And they're like, oh, whoa. Maybe we should find something better for the princess. Like, go pick out some hot knight or something. It's like, oh, okay, or I could do that. Like, she was ready to always go. Like, fight or flight, my dude. I could do both. So,
yeah, it's not fight or flight when you have a dragon.
Yeah, it's both all the time.
It's whatever I want.
Yeah, and like, she embodied what we thought the show was definitely going to be about. Was like Targaryens at full strength, riding dragons, settling shit the Targaryen way. Instead, they're always like, the dragon's in the pit. I don't want to go and get him, wake him up. He's sleeping. He's sleeping down there, right? They're like, I want my hot uncle, but my hot uncle's out banging things and fighting crab people, and I don't know what he's doing. I
mean, even toward the end, it was like, I want to say, at least halfway, if not the third act of the finale. Within the finale, halfway through up to the third act, you have the queen still, Rhaenyra is still not hesitant to go to war. And it's just like, God. And even if she is, it's like, well, then have Daemon completely just go behind her back and start a war. Like, something. And we kind of get a little of that, but it's just nothing pays off.
And what's crazy is, I would have believed that. Like, the show had already built up Daemon to be like that. I would have believed that he would have done it.
100%.
But instead, they pacify him too. Like, why? That motherfucker's never been passive. Every episode, he is the entire opposite of passivity.
He's the like, rogue prince.
Yeah, That's his title. That's what he's going to go do.
Yeah.
He's the fight or flight king. But he's like, let's go. Hop on my dragon. What we lighting on fire today, boys? And this one, okay, mommy said no.
Yep. All right, so let's. Do you want to cross the wall, Steven?
Fly over the wall with our dragon.
Fly over the wall, finally. So yes, let us cross the wall. All right, so we open on, this is our walkthrough, beat by beat of the episode. This week's walkthrough is going to be a lot shorter. We don't have as much time, and as you can tell, we're not the most enthused on this finale. So we're not going to be too detailed here, but we do have our walkthrough to honor the show's, format here. So we open on Dragonstone. We have Jace and Luke, / Luke. Is it Jace or Luke? I mix them up constantly. Which one is doubting his worthiness as heir to Driftmark? Is that Luke or Jace?
That's Lucerys.
Okay, so we open with
Lucerys is the older one.
Jace is the old one. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry. So Lucerys, the younger of the of Rhaenyra's kids, he's doubting his worthiness as heir to Driftmark, and he's like, "But I'm not perfect like you, mother." She's like, "I'm far from it, son." Blah blah blah. Good morning, Sir Lawrence. Good morrow, Sir Lawrence. I thought that was a good. What is good morrow? Is that?
It's like good tomorrow. Like
good tomorrow.
Yeah, essentially.
Like good morning?
Basically.
Okay. Interesting. Because I then heard them say on the morrow, which I'm assuming is tomorrow.
Right.
Because she was like, when is this going to happen? She's like, on the morrow.
Because tomorrow is supposed to be the next day morning.
So morrow means morning, essentially.
Right. Well, the following morning.
The following.
When you say tomorrow.
Okay.
And
I had never heard good morrow.
Is basically good morning.
Okay, cool. So good morning, Sir Lawrence, blah, blah, blah. Rhaenys arrives. Finally, something happens here. We give word. She gives word of Viserys' death and the Hightower's move to make Aegon successor. Essentially, she gives the previously on episode.
Yeah, she script spills and to a very pregnant woman. All bad news.
Script spills. I never heard that. Yeah.
And Aegon's on the throne.
Explosion.
It's like, how did you get out? I got on my dragon and bursted through that bitch. I even threatened him. The dragon roared at him. Dragon spit landed on their faces.
And then Daemon and Rhaenyra are like, so what did you do?
Oh, I got the fuck out of there.
So why are you... God damn it.
This isn't my war to start.
Right.
I came very fast to warn you and tell you what's up.
But yeah, Daemon questions Rhaenys' non-intervention. This isn't my war to start, as Steven says. And,
Dude, Daemon's quick,
whatever.
though. Daemon's like, moves everything off the table. We get to see a cool function to the table, though. Lights, the thing underneath,
bitch.
the table lights up.
That was one of the coolest visual Game of Thrones things.
Oh, it was awesome. And the thing in Game of Thrones, everyone who's used that table and probably doesn't know that's the function.
So I was going to say, is that is the table, then, that Stannis Baratheon used? They just move it around to another room.
Yep.
And it never was lit up in Thrones.
Yeah.
That was my first thought, too. I'm like, why weren't they lighting that bitch up in Thrones?
They probably didn't know that that's what it was for, or that's how it works.
Because it's 200 years later,
yeah. So they're just like, oh, whatever. So he's like, all right, we need to do this, this, and this. And we're just like, we do nothing. We don't do anything right now. It's like, we have to find our allies and strike them.
Yeah. Yeah, Daemon immediately rolls out the war map, the war table, glows the glowing war table. Yeah. Before that, we were in the princess quarters. The baby is coming because the news that Rhaenys brings of Viserys and all the drama of the Martha, essentially, that puts her into what we think at first is maybe just contractions, but that ends up being labor.
Yeah. And, yeah, they give us another very visceral birthing scene.
Oh,
yeah.
And the Maester confirms the baby is premature.
Yeah, baby doesn't make it.
It's never good.
I think the baby had the cord wrapped around his neck. I think that's what ultimately did it.
That's what did it. Okay. Yeah, because we did see...
They were very visceral, showing us everything. So.
Ugh, yeah, the kid's all gray and shit.
Yeah, like they're kind of trying to make it look like it had the grayscale, like it's like dragon-fied.
Oh, what? Okay, so that was a question. back to, I mean, Thrones proper. In season 1, the cost of Daenerys saving Khal Drogo was when she gave birth to that freakish dragon kid that we never actually saw visually, but it was described by the witch lady,
Yeah.
right, who she ends up torching. But yeah, it was described as, and this is a thing in throughout Targaryen history, right, where it's like if they do make these agreements, or even if not, there's a possibility that they have this kind of supernatural birthing thing.
It's if they're indecisive or they make the wrong decision, that the birth suddenly can just go wrong. So that's the whole point of what's happening. Like, she was indecisive on what to do, because I think they were intercutting it with the dragon's face,
which I thought was kind of cool.
Dragon.
Yeah,
because they're linked. They technically have a magical bond, and because of that, it's like, oh, you're indecisive, so like the air is not going to come out right. It's like, or it's not going to live. And there's been other examples of it in the books where they've come out like with like a part wing or weird stuff like that.
How badass would that have been if the kid was just like, everyone just thinks it's dead, and then all of a sudden it's just like, fucking wing pops out. It tries to like half fly out of the room. It flies in a circle. Some awkward, weird, creepy stillborn death.
Yep.
But it's just like, why not? That's such a cool fucking idea. And like, until my rewatch of Thrones, I completely forgot that was the thing that happened until my rewatch of Thrones recently. And like, why not have more of that shit going on? Like the flashing between the dragon and the birth and the stillborn and this freakish baby thing. It's almost like a freak Victorian freak show type shit going on. Play that up, man. Like weird. I love strange, visceral Game of Thrones shit. And that was all just kind of like,
Yeah.
They keep half delivering. Oh, that was messed up. Shouldn't make dead baby jokes. I didn't actually notice, though. Visually, I will admit, I didn't notice the grayscale thing. I gotta go back and check that out.
Yeah.
All right, so like Steven said, we're in the War Room in Dragonstone. Daemon strategizes with the soldiers.
Yep, he gets somebody to go out onto a dragon to go and patrol. It's like if you see any ships, you let us know. Get people on the beach so no one sneaks up on them, obviously. So he's like quick, ready for that shit. Then he breaks down like literally like what they have for their side versus what they potentially have. Mm-hmm. And so one of the first big things is like, well, who are our allies? Who's on our side? Mm-hmm. And Corlys comes in too, because we get Corlys finally.
Yes.
Because he's all fucked up. He's like, ugh. It's like, yeah.
Since we've had no idea what the hell happened to him for 2 episodes,
yeah.
It's good to know where he is.
Yeah, he should be dead anyways, but sure. He's alive. A ship does come, but it's with Eric. Eric brought her father's crown.
Which one?
For her.
Which Eric?
It's the one with an A.
Come on.
Eric. Eric.
It's Eric, not Eric.
Eric. So yeah, he brings the crown.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going through their list of dragons, so they have everyone there.
Best transition. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
Now we're both so excited to recap this.
They do break down all the dragons. So they say the name of every dragon.
Yes, bitch.
Yeah.
So let's all right. Let's fast. You want to fast forward now to our Daemon's meta dragon count. So that's what I like to call it, because Matt Smith does listen to HOD Pod, or podcast, and he wanted to help us out with this exposition dump of every fucking dragon on the show.
Yeah.
So, go for it, Steven.
We have Cyrax, Caraxes, Melees. Your sons have Vermax, Arax, and Taraxes. Baelor has Moon Dancer, who we've never seen. There's also Unclaimed Dragons. Sea Smoke still relies on Driftmark, although Sea Smoke can't be claimed in the show because the dragons, again, have a magical bond, and since the writer is still alive, remember he faked his death, so it'll be weird how they get Sea Smoke a writer, technically, unless he is dead. I don't know how the fuck they're going to do that one. But yeah, also on Driftmark. Well, that's just the ones on Driftmark. Then we have Vermithor, Silverwing. They dwell in the Dragon Mount. That's like an area on Dragonstone.
Okay.
They're still riderless. And then they have 3 wild dragons, all of whom are here on Dragonstone. So they have 13 to their 4. And the 4 dragons that the Greens have, we've only seen 3 of them. The 4th one you haven't seen because the 4th one is for the other son, who we also haven't seen, who the showrunners are like, you'll see him in season 2 because he's over in Old Town. Presumably with the dragon, I guess.
Wait, the 4th Hightower / Targaryen is in Old Town now?
Yeah, that's where he's been.
Why?
I don't know. They just decided to go send him there to train with Otto's dad and not be in the capital. Like he's a big part in the book, and he has a dragon. But yeah, the main dragons that we're gonna see is Sunfire, Dreamfire, and Vhagar, which in this episode is gonna be Vhagar. But yeah, we get a big old list of dragons. Pretty dope. Also, Silverwing and Vermithor. Vermithor was King Jaehaerys' dragon, and King Jaehaerys was the last rider for him, and his wife rode Silverwing. So the dragons are also connected, and they tend to stay together. And Vermithor is technically a very larger, more experienced dragon as well.
Like they mate for life type thing?
Yeah, essentially those two do.
Okay.
So they're often together, and they're both riderless. They're right there on Dragonstone. They're in the Dragon Mount. It's like a big fucking mountain where they reside inside the cave. Which we see one of them at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you have liked to maybe get some visuals of all these fucking dragons? As he's listing them, how about a quick shot of each one? Wouldn't that have been cool? Or
I
no?
don't... Cinematically, it would have been weird just to have him talk and they just like super cut to each one.
Good point.
Yeah, it's like, whatever.
That's a little too voiceover-y.
Right.
Yeah.
And if that's our first introduction to like Moondancer and the other two, plus it would take away from the dragon reveal at the end of the episode, and also showing the 3 wild dragons. It's like, if you're gonna do stuff with the wild dragons, do the stuff with the wild dragons. Don't just be like, and then there's the 3 wild dragons over here.
Good point.
One of them's got a stupid name. One of them looks like poo.
Dreamweaver, is that the stupid named one?
No, Sheep Stealer.
Sheep Stealer, that's really the name of a dragon?
Yeah, and he's shit brown. It looks like Dookie.
Wow. So yeah, Daemon's strategy. We need a place to gather, a toehold, large enough to house a sizable host. So his proposition is Harrenhal, because it's positioned in a place where we can, quote, cut off the west, surround King's Landing, and then, what is he say? And then we can have every green head mounted on spikes before the fucking moon turns, Steven.
Oh, yeah. They also mention their allies, too. They mention, the Starks.
Yeah, this is where we go through, very important, list of allies versus list of enemies, yeah.
Yeah, and so, they mention the Starks, but since the Starks are so far north, and you finally get to see that, because later seasons of Game of Thrones, everyone travels so fast, you don't realize how actually far away fucking Winterfell is from everyone, that they're straight up they can't even help right now, because they're that far away. We're talking a month's journey for them to even come down anywhere to do anything. So unless the fights were up there, that wouldn't really matter. So this is why they're yeah, we have the Starks, but do we? So this is where they're we need to go to Riverrun and to Riverrun, because Riverrun's always important. It's even important in Game of Thrones. Controlling the Riverlands controls a lot of flow of a lot of the other houses through the mainlands, because obviously all of the castle gates are as over the river, so you could stop people from moving their entire armies. It's very important to get that area.
And the flow of blood of the Red Wedding.
Yep. Yeah. And then their Corlys mentions, of course, it's I did something we didn't do last time in the Stepstones, is I left a garrison there, so we actually control it, which means they control the shipping lanes. And that's another big deal.
So there's actually a consequence, that's good, to the 8-year war.
Yep.
Fucking stuff.
That we didn't really get to see or invest in, really. They're I did the thing. Oh, okay, cool.
Someone has won that war. We assumed there was a winner.
Got it.
Okay.
And so they also got to get, which is going to be a hard sell. They've got to get the Aarons, Lady Aaron. So this is of the Vale. But as you remember, Damon kind of pissed off the Vale. So, he got married to that guy.
Those uggos in the mountains.
You got to get the uggos on her side because
So
the
this
Vale was
confused me,
also
though,
a
when
good
she
sport.
said, my lady mother is an Aaron. What is a lady mother and who is a lady? What is she talking about?
Her mom was an Aaron.
Oh, I see. Okay. So lady mother in Westeros means just mother?
Basically. Well, she's just...
Oh,
trying to
like
say
Lord and Lady.
Lord and
Got
Lady,
it, okay.
but her specifically lady mother, her mother. Yeah, Emma.
Okay.
Yeah, Emma.
I didn't know if that was like a godmother thing or...
No, she just means her mom, Emma. She's from the Vale.
Oh, it's just not an uggo. She wasn't ugly.
No, well, she's a Targaryen.
Okay, so interesting. Got it. Now we get news arrives of a ship being spotted offshore. A sigil of three-headed dragons. This means that Otto Hightower has arrived, correct?
Yeah.
And then we're on the iconic bridge of Dragonstone, Stephen.
Yep, same thing as last time. It's Otto and fucking Damon there again. Otto's a brave motherfucker.
He is ballsy
You know
for
what?
being such a bitch.
He's got his boys. And where's Princess Rhaenyra? It's like, it's Queen Rhaenyra. She comes flying down off her dragon, doing a backflip. Even though I just failed to give birth, I can still ride this dragon and kick your asses.
Still parkour into your face.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm queen now, wearing her father's crown.
Yeah.
And it's like, Aegon is now the ruler. He has the conqueror's sword, he has the conqueror's name, and he has the conqueror's crown. So the people recognize him with strength.
Great argument, buddy.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, cool. You immune to dragon fire? Because you're on the wrong bridge. But no, instead she just like snaps off his hand to the king. He's like, you're not hand to the king, you piece of shit. And
Shall discard of your brooch.
he kind of gives her a good deal. Like, ultimately, like, yeah, he offers a pretty good deal for a rebellion. It's like, you could still stay on Dragonstone, and we'll make sure your sons and everyone has, like, proper court places. It's like, let's just calm down.
But was it a deal that will ever really be honored? Like,
No, because I'm pretty sure
would totally
he
not
would
honor
have her
that.
killed.
Yeah.
No matter what, he would have her killed.
All right.
So it's like, yeah, no. It's like,
Yeah.
no. It's like you cannot trust anything because of that man's face. So, yeah.
That seems like one of those deals of like, I know, I'm not going to honor this, but let's act like I will.
Yeah, Damon does have the fucking best lines ever.
Yes,
Because
dude.
he offers for the younger kids, the young Aegon, Rhaenyra's Aegon, to be like the cupbearers for the king. And he's like, I'd rather feed my sons to the dragons than have them carry the cups to the usurper cunt of a king.
Such a good line.
Wow.
I even wrote in my notes here, best shit talker ever.
Yeah.
I'd rather feed my sons to the dragons than have them carry shields and cups for your drunken usurper cunt of a king. Drunken usurper cunt of a king might be like the coolest name to ever call someone.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Otto says that other houses are considering our offers, so he's kind of putting the pressure on by bringing up new potential enemies and slash allies. The Grand Maester busts out a page from Fire and Blood, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, it's the page that Rhaenyra tore out of Alicent's book. So he gives it to Rhaenyra, so Rhaenyra remembers that they're still friends. He's like, remember what you're fighting against, your friend.
And even Damon was like, the fuck is
Damon's
this?
like, Sir Eric, go fucking get me Sir Otto Hightower so I can murder his ass. And Rhaenyra's like, no, Damon, stop.
Yeah.
He's like, let me think about it. You'll have my answer tomorrow.
On the morrow.
Tomorrow.
On the tomorrow. Yeah, I thought it was good. Like, so Eric, bring me Lord Hightower so I can have the pleasure myself. So he was about to fucking take off Hightower's head. And then, yeah, as always, Rhaenyra is so metered. Is that the word, metered? Like when you're very controlled, very calm, collected.
Yeah.
Which is so not a Targaryen trait, but whatever. Then Rhaenyra and Daemon are in the glowing table war room once again.
Yeah. Your stuff there is pretty accurate. Rhaenyra hesitant to start dropping nukes. It's like, I got flying nukes. No, we don't want to do that. Damon's like, what are you going to do about this?
Yeah.
It's like, my father wanted more than just to rule. It's like, it's an oath to the Song of Fire. It's like, and then Damon chokes the shit out of her in front of the fire. It's like, listen, the writers are like, I'm tired of people fucking liking this guy. We've made him completely unlikable to us, so we'll have him choke her out. But she likes it. She does.
Yeah.
It's like, my brother was a slave to Omen's importance. Don't become weak, dogmatic moron like he was.
Yeah, good line.
It's like dreams didn't make the Targaryens, dragons did. It's like, but dreams did save the Targaryens, so there's a little bit between each thing. But yeah, he has a very good point. He's like, listen, you can't sit there and keep being indecisive about this, or else they're going to show up with their army, and we have fucking nothing. We'll have our dragons on defense. And they did mention that too at the table with the dragon list. Is like, yeah, all of our dragons are not experienced in war, while they have the dragon that's experienced in war and killing other dragons. So it's entirely different when you got level. Some of these dragons are the size of kites to little tiny one-seater aircraft against a B-52 bomber.
The scale of which we really get to see at the end. Yeah, I mean, it looked like a fucking pelican swallowing a butterfly. It was like, whoa. I had no idea the dragons were that different in size. I knew they were different in size. I had no idea it was that scale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got, what?
But that felt, just real quick, that felt very Game of Thrones. Of like the balls of this dude. To once the room is cleared and the politics are out of the room for a second, literally, it's like
choke the shit out of the queen.
Choke the shit out of the queen.
Yeah.
That is so Thrones of like, this is power, bitch, right here. Like taking the air from someone's throat and talking sense into them. That's fucking power, not this political bullshit. That was good. And like you said, she probably liked it.
Yeah.
All right, so then we have a Corlys sick in bed with Rhaenys set aside.
Yep, and basically he just gives him the news that his brother fucking talked shit and got his head cut off. He's like, well, my brother was a big old piece of shit anyway, so.
So Rhaenys is just dumping exposition.
Yep.
Like that's her job.
Script spilling! Oh, look at that! Oh, boy!
Allow me to take another dump.
Oh, my God!
Oh, my God, the thing we saw last episode and 10 minutes ago in the previously on.
My brother called someone a bastard? Oh, he probably died. Oh, wow, he did.
How about just having them talk about that? Like, he already got the news before the cameras start rolling, so it's fucking interesting. Instead, it's, here's what happened. Okay.
Last time on Dragon House Z. Your brother got his head cut off.
Last time on this dragon show with no dragons. Fuck me.
Yeah, so basically they're kind of hesitant and they want to stay out of it, but then they don't. But Rhaenys is like, I gotta defend her because she's basically me. Of course, makes a good point. It's like, this is the same thing they did to you, except worse.
Yeah, let's not get involved in this war. Let's retire. Corlys is basically saying, yeah, let's retire to High Tide, stay out of this shit. And then Rhaenys is like, yeah, but... we can't because they will come after your grandsons and burn them because that's what they will do.
Yep, they'll kill everyone. So yeah, he supports them. He mentions the stuff about the Stepstones. He's like, I got the Stepstones under control, so we can cut off all sea travel and trade to King's Landing. They want to send ravens to the allies to see who is really there. Jacaerys is like, dragons are faster than ravens, plus we don't use ravens in this show.
Literally still never seen one.
Send us. It's like, all right, so they agree to let Jace fly north because it's the furthest, and then he can head southward, and they'll send Lucerys to the Stormlands because it's close by, and he won't be gone for that long. He's kind of scared. Serena talks with her sons outside the castle. I was like, you're to bring news with your dragons. Don't engage. No fighting.
No fighting, boys.
Literally has them swear on the 7-star Bible.
Yeah.
It's like, Lucerys looks scared, as he should be. And, yeah. It's
You're sending like a 13-year-old to go fucking fly on a dragon to make a peace talk.
Yeah. Because I think, so the exact path is Jacaerys is going to go to...
Winterfell.
I think he's going to the Vale first.
Okay.
He's going to go to the Vale first, then he'll go and treat with Cregan Stark at Winterfell. And it's like, yeah, he's like your age. You'll be able to get along with him. Just, be a prince. Meanwhile, Damon is going to the Riverlands. So he's going to fly to the Riverlands and secure them. And this leaves Lucerys to go to Storm's End with the Baratheons, because the Baratheons held. But it was the father of the dude there. And we find out, I guess, he died in between, like, so many time skips. So, yeah.
We got a great shot of the 3 messenger dragons departing Dragonstone. That was dope. Mm-hmm. And Dragonstone theme playing. Made me tear up, even though
this part's all at the very end. That's after Daemon comes back.
Oh, okay, cool. So let's skip that. So Luke arrives at Storm's End on Dragonback.
Yeah, very stormy, by the way.
Very stormy. It felt very Star Wars. It felt very... what's the planet in Star Wars that's always raining?
I'm trying.
We see in Attack of the Clones when Jango Fett.
Well, that's Camino. But the one where it has, because when they start doing the like run around and there's like the trenches, that reminds me of Edu from Rogue One, which is also rainy, but there's like crazy trenches.
Oh, I forgot about that place. Yeah. Well, yeah, this whole just very fantasy, high fantasy almost, but. Tangible. Like in Thrones, you just always had these exteriors that were like, I can't believe that's real, but it looks real.
And you could see his baby dragon, Arax, has a hard time like flying through the storm, but he gets there, he lands, and strike of lightning, you see Vhagar is there, like in his own little like landing platform because it's too big. So he goes in to greet the king. We find out it's the son of the guy who supported Rhaenyra. So. Yeah, he hands him the thing. He's like, I need a maester because I'm too fucking dumb. I can't read. And that is exactly why, because the Baratheons can't read. And so he's like, oh, well, you come here without gifts? It's like, Prince Aemon brought me a marriage proposal. What did you bring me? It's like, you made the promise. It's like, promises. Like,
apparently showing up to Storm's End without a marriage proposal is like showing up to a dinner party without wine. You have to,
I guess,
offer yourself to marry a daughter.
I guess when you make your family agreement, like, you got to still show up with gifts, apparently. So, Aemon fucking rips his eye patch off, and you see he's got the sapphire in his eye, which is in the book, to be intimidating. And so he's like, oh, let me get that eye for my mother to be a good gift. But luckily the Baratheon's like, whoa, no bloodshed in this castle. And of course, Luke has tried not to fight anybody, like Mommy's promise. And so he's like, escort the prince back to his dragon. So he fucking leaves, as he should. He's like, wait, let's go. But it's not long before you realize that with a few lightning strikes, that Vhagar is already above him. Very, very large. You're like a little speck.
It's tiny.
Yeah. Well, we got for some size comparisons. I guess it would be like the Millennium Falcon running from the Star Destroyer. If we're going to go the Star Wars ones. Yeah.
No, I mean, that big. Vastly different, yeah.
Yeah, he's huge.
This all felt like very old-timey Universal monster, like Dracula's castle vibes, stormy, lots of thunder. Also a great scene when they first fly away. Like, the tension continues between the two. Music cuts out, which I really appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
Luke's flying away. You're just waiting for it. You're just like, when is this?
Aemon's laughing, and it's like, you gotta give me your eye, brother. It's just a little maiming. And cousin. And he has, like, Vhagar kind of snap at him to just kind of, like, intimidate him, and it's, like, flying by and bullying him. Well, the dragon... Arax, like, he finally does something smart. He dives into the trench and does a Star Wars trench run because Vhagar can't get his big ass in there. But he
felt very Top Gun too. Yeah.
He probably should have just stayed in there, to be honest. Like, let's just land right over here on this corner.
Yeah, just hide.
Not fucking get out. Yeah. But yeah, so he's like, wee, trench running through, and so he's trench running all the way through. Vhagar goes up and around. But obviously, since he didn't stay in the trench, he comes out, and so they're there. But Arax is fucking scared, man. He's in fight or flight mode himself, and he's a dragon. So you can hear the boys, like, we can hear Lucerys trying to control his dragon. Obviously, he's fucking scared shitless right now. So, but the dragon's like, listen, I may be scared, but I got balls. I'm a dragon. So he fucking bum rushes from the bottom Vagar and tries to light Vagar's face on fire. He's like, whoa, Eric's no, listen to me, and flies away. And then Vagar's like, you done fucked up, son. And Eamon's like, no, listen to me. And so it's chasing after him. He manages to barrel roll and get the fuck out of there and get out of the storm clouds. He's like, we're all good. It's like, yeah,
literally out of the clouds.
Out of the clouds, like he's above the clouds. Awesome shot too.
Great shot.
He's looking around. He's like, all right, I think we did it. And we turns this way. Bam! You done fucked up. Big old dragon takes one bite. Bites him in half. The dragon, by the way, with the rider. In the book, it's his headless body that washes up that someone finds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The dragon body or the kids?
The kids.
Ooh,
yeah,
even better.
The dragon was ripped completely in half.
That would have been a great thing,
Yeah. Now you'd have to assume, since it's Damon who brains the news, that it's probably that on Damon's way back he saw the bodies. That's probably more the case since we didn't see the bodies. Of that.
But before that, we got the...
Oh, well, there's also during the battle, during the fight, Aemon just looks like, oh, God, what have I done? Because he was trying to control Vagar to get Vagar to stop. He's like, Vagar, no!
Right.
But Vagar's like, nah, dragon burn face, dragon die now.
Which I thought was interesting. It's like, you can't always control these flying nukes.
Which is what, it goes back earlier in the season to what Viserys was saying to Millie Alcock's version of Rhaenyra, where he's like, listen, the idea that we control the dragons is an illusion. But a part that I have to personally not like is, well, in the books, that's not the case. Like, Aemon is, like, dedicated and knows what he's doing. Like, he uses Vagar as a tool of war. So when he goes after him, it's on purpose. And the fact that they're taking the boys' decisions away from them, and they're taking all the characters' decisions and making everything react around them, it's taking away their characters and their motivation. So now, a war...
What agency do these people have?
A war is for sure starting because Aemon's dragon fucking ate the goddamn prince, and he's distraught because he didn't want that to happen. Now he's
again,
like,
another
fuck.
accident.
He's like, oh, fuck. Well, first mom 3 companies this shit, and then my pit bull just bit a kid in the face.
First Martha, then Vagar.
Yeah.
Da-da-da.
And I'm like, come on, just let them be their characters. Aemon is an awesome character in the book. Like ruthless but tactical and smart. And it says like, oopsie, me couldn't get dragon to stoppies.
It reminded me of when Aegon, his brother, was like, I have no wish to be the ruler, and then Aemon's just like, no argument for me, but all he does is hold him down instead of stabbing his brother in the heart. That would have been way better if he just stabbed his brother in the heart and took over.
Yeah, probably.
Or tried to, done something. You know what I mean? It's like, even if he doesn't succeed, like you said, give these fucking characters agency.
Yep.
Yeah. Before our final scene, we have a Daemon dragon whispering in a cave.
Yeah, he's singing in Valyrian, and then you just see the fire as the dragon approaches, and the dragon is fucking big. Not as big as Vagar, but it's really big.
Massive. So this is one of the wild dragons on Dragonstone?
No, this is Vermithor. This is King Jacaerys' dragon.
Now, Jacaerys was the king that the show opened with?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, this is his dragon. It's also an experienced, older, bigger dragon. He plays a big part in the book because, like how they said they're going to conscript the dragon keepers to help fight, but they're also going to look for what they call our dragon seeds, which are any Targaryen bastards. Because anybody who's got the blood has the potential to be able to ride the dragons. And there is an important character in the book that does ride that dragon. And thus, there's another one that rides the partner dragon to it. So that'll all be cool if we get it. But, we'll see how long it takes. Maybe that'll be the end of season 2. Like, we found the dragon rider to Vandeventer. It's like, yeah, but...
This is going to be 9 episodes of Rhaenys recapping season 1.
Yeah. Then... where these scripts come from? I do really like the ending, though. I thought the ending was very well done because It's Damon just walking up to
Yeah,
Rhaenyra.
slow-mo shot.
Yeah, we don't hear anything.
Yeah, that was good.
He's just talking to her.
Yeah.
There's no emotion out of her. She's just looking towards the fire. We know what he's
And the back
what he's
is
there to
her
say.
back is to the camera for like most of it, which is cool.
Yeah. And he's just kind of like letting her in on stuff which we know what it's about. It's about fucking Lucerys getting ate up, and it's like Lucerys the snack. And so yeah, then she turns to the camera. It's like if she had a tear, it's gone, but she has this look of like the mother's despair and wrath. And you're like, yeah, but that's how you're supposed to look all the time based off the book, because the whole point is that you're trying to protect the children in the first place. But yes, this still happens. Jacaerys still dies in the book, and she goes fucking mad
queen.
as you should, because the show did do a good job of showing the difference of parenting. Because obviously Alicent is kind of like, whatever, that one's jacking off, I don't care that one, give that one to my grandpa, and this one's a dragon dreamer and cuckoo bananas, so I can't even talk to this one. And
yeah.
Aemon's a good boy when he's not getting picked on, beat up, or crying like a little baby. But Rhaenyra, on the other hand, is always attentive to children. Like, she's actively teaching them. She's with the younger ones. Like, she's much more of what you consider like a comforting, like loving parent than an absent one. So, yeah, the death of her middle child is like not great for her, so she's gonna be mad. And I thought they did a great job of like showcasing that. I think it would have been worse if he would have walked in and goes, they found Lucerys' body washed up on shore. That would have been just not as great.
Would have been like the rest of the episode.
Yeah, like, okay, exposition dump. Instead, just that, no words.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we conveyed exactly what you're thinking just from that look.
I also think
good job.
Yeah, and I also think the idea of her walking toward a fireplace, the fire Targaryens, like she's walking toward her rage, and then she turns around, just the reveal of like, this is who I am, motherfucker. Fire and blood.
Yep. And you're going to get both. Next season. I've got to go.
Yeah, Steven has to open the shop, so say goodbye, Steven.
Bye, guys.
So once again, we are recording live from Davinci's Dreamworks 2 comic shop, which is about to be opened here in sunny Jensen Beach, Florida. We got comics, we got games. At Davinci Dreamworks 2 comics on Instagram and Facebook. Follow us at House of the Dragon Pod. Please subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/above and Batman Beyond. And of course, follow us on Spotify. Please write us reviews on Spotify. Comments, whatever you guys can do on YouTube helps us out as well. Again, we do have future episodes coming out, even though Season 1 is over of House of the Dragon. We're going to do our audio-only kind of after-season recap, or I should say after-season reaction, whatever you want to call it. And then whatever comes out for future projects. The Jon Snow sequel series and Game of Thrones proper. We're going to have some projects on that too. So I've been Benjamin, and on behalf of Steven, thank you for joining us in entering House of the Dragon.